street down. I'm on the gen next to the set of stairs that has the door.
What's up, my dudes? It's Turd, your PS4 Dead by Daylight educational content creator. And I got another how to loop and rotate educational video for you guys. This one's going to be about Midwich Elementary School. Another one of those indoor maps that survivors have such a hard time loop and rotating at. And that's because with indoor maps, you really need to be able to memorize the tiles. That way when you enter a tile, you can identify it and react to it quickly. In order to fully understand this map, we're going to need to take a peek at the layout of Midwich Elementary School. Just like Gideon's meat plant, Midwich has two floors that are stacked directly on top of each other. However, with this map, the layout does not change at all. So memorizing the layout is hands down the most important thing you can do. Let me give you a brief crash course. The lobby has an exit gate, and you can identify this room by the cadavers that are hanging in cages. Next to the lobby is the reception and the reception desk. Now this room has a breakable wall and a window vault. Directly above the reception room will always be the iconic music room. This room has a possible pallet spawn as well as a possible generator spawn. To the other side of the lobby on the first floor is the infirmary. Now this room will always have a god pallet spawn. Directly above the infirmary is the locker room. Now this room has a possible pallet spawn, and it has a hole in the wall that will allow you to drop to the first floor in the lobby right on top of the exit gate. The other exit gate is always to the opposite side of the lobby. This room has a pallet spawn, and to the left of this room is the storage, which also has a pallet spawn. Directly above the storage room is the lab equipment room and the iconic chemistry lab. Both rooms have a pallet spawn, and the chemistry lab has a generator spawn and a drop hole that will put you to the first level right on top of the exit gate. The room to the right of this exit gate is the hall, which has a breakable door, a pallet spawn, and a collapsed ceiling, creating a platform up to the library. The library has two pallet spawns, a breakable door, a generator spawn, and is connected to the library reserve, which also has a pallet spawn. There are 8 classrooms, 4 on each floor. Now these classrooms theoretically do not change as far as the layout goes. However, the RNG inside the tiles, that does change. So the quicker you memorize these RNG classrooms, the better off you're going to be. This way when you enter a classroom, you can identify the tile, react quickly, and get to a pallet or get to a window vault. But even then you're kind of fucked, because to rotate from one room to another room, you have to leave that room and enter the hallways. Now the hallways have generator spawns, and on the first floor, you might be able to get a god pallet spawn right before the staircase. But aside from that, there aren't any other pallets or anything that you can use to extend the chase in the hallways. It's pretty much a dead zone. You're only using them to rotate to the next room. However, the hallways on the second floor do have drop holes and window vaults to get to the courtyard. The courtyard has 3 to 4 jungle gyms that could all spawn generators, pallets, or window vaults. And behind the iconic clock tower are 2 possible pallet spawns. Now the last rooms we'll talk about before we jump into the gameplay are the bathrooms. Each bathroom has a possible pallet spawn, and the bathrooms on the second floor have drop holes to get to the shitters on the first floor. Now there is a secret staircase that allows you to get from the bathrooms on the first floor up to the second floor. However, it's only accessible if the killer kicks down the breakable doors. Pretty much every room has a possible pallet spawn. However, because of RNG and the cap amount of pallets per map, you're not going to get them in every room. Okay, I spawned in the lab equipment room on the second floor right next to Meg. Now I can assume that my other 2 teammates spawned on the same side as me, whether it's on the top floor or the bottom floor, I don't really know. I can also assume that the killer spawned on the opposite side, whether it's on the top floor or the bottom floor, I do not know. What I do know is I got a sweet broken key out of this chest. I'll go ahead and leave that right fucking here. Okay, it looks like we're going up against a piggy. Now, I don't think that she saw me, so I'm gonna position myself so that I can see both doors. Once I think the coast is clear, I'm gonna head down the hallway towards the direction my teammates spawned in at, and I'm gonna listen for them working on a generator. If I hear that they're working on a generator, then I'm gonna pass through and go to the other side of the board and work on a generator over there to split pressure. If I don't hear them working on a generator, then I'm gonna assume that when they spawned in, they went to the other side of the board right away, and I'm gonna go into the library to look for a generator there. Unfortunately, there is not a generator in the library, and to the untrained eye, it might look like I've wasted a ton of time. And technically, you're not wrong. I mean, I haven't worked on a generator yet, but my logic to come over here, it didn't pan out, but it did make sense. And I've gathered a ton of information. There's a very strong pallet in the library reserve. There's 2 pallets in the library. There's a pallet here in the hall, and you probably didn't know, but I've looked at 21 possible totem spawn locations in that short amount of time. So I'm going to run to the outside of this table to check a few more totem spawn locations and then head to the generator that's in the courtyard. Now, this map has the most possible totem spawn locations out of any other map in Dead by Daylight. Now, I can't say if that's going to be true for future maps, but to this date, that is a true statement. I made a detailed video showing all the possible totem spawn locations of this entire map. A link will be at the end of this video. I do warn you, it is a bit on the lengthy side and kind of boring, so only watch it if you struggle to find totems on this map. I'm in a 3-survivor pre-made lobby, and my friend Stoner is currently injured and in chase. My other friend, Navi, has just joined me to work on this generator in the courtyard. Okay, Stoner goes down and he's gonna get a free party hat. Now, by default, the pig has 4 reverse bear traps, and on this map, they're gonna be extremely hard to get off, and I'll explain that a little bit later.
Joke's on you, bitch.
Based on the location that Stoner went down and where I know he's going to get hooked, if the killer has barbecue and chili, she's going to drop down from the 2nd floor into the courtyard and come straight to this generator where both of these survivors are working on. And just like that, that is exactly what happened. Now the killer is going to chase Navi, and I'd love to get back on this generator.
Everybody's downstairs right now.
However, Stoner tells me that no one is near him, so I'm gonna go get the unhook on Stoner. So what other information have we gathered? We know that the killer does not have Ruin, because when we got off the generator, it did not start regressing. We can also assume that the killer does not have Pop Goes the Weasel, because if she did have Pop Goes the Weasel, she would have kicked that generator before chasing Navi. Now I'm going to explain the current situation and give you the 2 options that I have to choose from so that you can see the logic behind what I'm about to do. Now, I left the generator in the courtyard at 50% completed to come get the unhook on Stoner. Most survivors would go right back to that generator and finish it off. And against a different killer, or if this killer had Ruin, or if it was a different map, that would definitely be the play. However, I know that it's going to take me 40 seconds to finish the remaining 50% of that generator. And during that 40 seconds, there's a good probability that the killer is going to down the survivor that they are currently chasing right now. And there will be 2 survivors with reverse bear traps stuck on their head. As soon as I fully repair that generator, it's going to activate the timer on their reverse bear traps. And they're going to have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to find the key in one of the 4 jigsaw boxes spread throughout the map. And on any other map, that is normally not an issue. But on this map, if you're a survivor that has a reverse bear trap stuck on your head, the only way to get to the 2nd floor if you're on the bottom floor is to go to one of the 3 corners. And then you still have to go traverse down the dangerous hallways, the same hallways that the killer is patrolling to find survivors.
I got dead hard, so nah. I'm gonna go get this fucking cage off my face.
So instead, I'm gonna head to the chemistry lab and work on the generator there. And if we can get 2 generators close to being repaired, we're gonna be in a good position to pop those when we want to.
Because last time, I wasn't able to get it off.
Now, you're never truly going to know if your decision is the correct decision until after the trial's over. But I want you to understand the thought process and the decision making that I do in these current situations. And whether you agree with me or you disagree with my decisions, that's up to you. But as you can see, I've got this generator about 20% completed, which means the generator in the courtyard I would not have been able to complete before this random survivor got their reverse bear trap stuck on their head. Now, I know you clicked on this video to watch me loop the killer, and fear not, it is coming shortly. I promise. But I'm going to use this downtime to talk about some really fucking cool shit. First and foremost, I want to thank all you beautiful people for all the love and support. I'm approaching 500 subscribers, and I honestly cannot believe that. That is amazing. Thank you guys. So if you like how I break down all my videos and try to give as much information as I possibly can, make sure you hit the like button. Leave a comment because I get back to every single person. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing because, well, I mean, it's free. And don't forget to join my Discord. A link will be in the description below. Now, last but not least, I have been recruited to join a competitive Dead by Daylight team called Bloodlust. You can catch our games as well as every single game live on Twitch under Vigo's Court. And Vigo's Court has asked me to be the commentator for every game in which I am not playing in. Okay, the random survivor gets unhooked, and again, because there are 2 survivors that have reverse bear traps on, plus Nave just got injured and could possibly be the 3rd survivor with the reverse bear trap, I'm gonna 99 this generator and then 99 the courtyard generator.
99 in the gen at chemistry.
You know, it's super unfortunate that the random survivor gets tunneled, especially because the killer hits Navi and obviously leaves her to hit the survivor that's just been off the hook and has a bear trap on his head. I mean, that's kind of a low blow if you ask me. I almost glitched into this chain right here, and that would have really sucked. You know what also sucks? This random survivor decides to give up and die on second hook. There's something about PC players. I feel like they always DC. And I bet you if this survivor knew that I'm about to take this killer on a 2-minute chase, they would have stayed in the game and we would have all survived. However, now it's going to be a 3v1 and I'm the only person that survives. So let this be a lesson to all you entitled survivors. Suck it up, dude. Just play the game through. Okay, now the killer is approaching and I could play off the pallet that's at this jungle gym. However, that would be giving up a pallet within less than 5 seconds of being chased. And if I was injured, that would be the safe bet. And I don't think that I have enough distance to rotate to the infirmary before taking a hit. But I do think that I have enough distance to rotate to the reception desk vault and use that loop to then rotate back to this pallet.
They gave up.
Unfortunately, I do not react quickly enough to the killer's red stain and am now forced to loop at this unsafe vault before rotating to the pallet. The pig is right up on my asshole, but luckily I get a pallet stem, which is going to allow me to get enough distance to rotate to the next section. Now, I look back and notice that the piggy did not break the pallet, and I'll put that on the back burner in case I need that information for later.
Still trying to fucking get this.
Again, my reaction time was just barely not quick enough, and unfortunately I get hit as I throw the pallet. Had I known that, I would have rather not thrown the pallet and just take the injury sprint burst to create distance. Notice the hemorrhage and mangled status side effect on the right hand side of my screen. That means that the killer has sloppy butcher. I want you guys to notice how I'm continuing to run forward and allowing the killer to close the gap before I enter a room and start looping that tile. This is called looping outside of chase, and a lot of survivors fail to do this, and it's very important to do this, especially on indoor maps. Now, from the time that I threw the pallet to the time that I got to this room to start looping him in this tile, I wasted over 20 seconds of the killer's time. Many survivors would have thrown the pallet, gone up the stairs, and then entered the first room that they could get to, and then camp a pallet there waiting for the killer to come. Now, that would have only wasted 8 seconds of the killer's time. And then what they probably would do is just rotate to the very next room and repeat process. Technically, what these survivors are doing is looping. However, it's not efficient looping, and this method is actually very harmful for the team, and I'll explain why a little bit later. Now, I glanced to my left to see if it's a door or a very strong window vault connecting these two classrooms. Unfortunately, it's a door, and so I'm going to play it safe at this pallet, and then rotate to a safer tile. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but this vault at the staircase is actually really strong. If you take this vault, you're going to drop down to the very bottom of the staircase, and you're going to have a slight stagger and a little recovery, but even then it's quicker than running the rest of the hallway and then running down the stairs. And against killers, who every single one of them have a faster movement speed than survivors, you're going to gain distance, even if they run down the stairs. And if the killer decides to vault, they're going to slow down when they do vault, and you're going to gain distance there too. So I'm going to make sure that I take this at a good angle to get a medium vault, because if I do a slow vault, there's a good chance that I'll get hit during lock animation. As soon as I enter this room, I quickly identify the tile. Now I can see that the killer's red stain is right up on me, so I'm gonna have to dead hard to get to this pallet. Now it's a bit of a tricky angle, so what I'm gonna have to do is dead hard into this bookshelf, which is then going to slide me across to the other side of the pallet. A lot about what looping is being able to react to what the killer does. So when the killer breaks this pallet, I know that I need to rotate to the next room. Now I position myself far enough away from the window so that I can see the killer through the survivor's third-person point of view, but the killer cannot see me through the killer's first-person point of view. And now I can react to the killer's next move. If the killer decides to go around and enter this room through the door, well then I'm going to be able to fast vault back into the room that I came from. And if the killer decides to vault the window, well then I'm just going to loop around and continue to play off this window. Being able to adjust your camera to locate the killer while looping is a skill set that a lot of survivors lack.
Right, I'm on the gen next
now
to
because the killer swung and
stairs
missed,
that
I'm
has
going to use
the,
this opportunity to rotate to a new tile. And you might be wondering, why not just stay here and loop him at this window vault? And that's a viable option. But if I stay here, eventually I'm going to be forced to use the pallet that's in the other room. And that's going to create a dead zone on this entire side of the map. I look back and I notice that the pig vaults the window, which will allow me to create even more distance. And that's probably a good thing because this killer's got Bloodlust 8000. For those of you that don't know, every 15 seconds a killer chases a survivor, he's going to gain a Bloodlust tier, up to a maximum of 3 tiers, and each tier is going to increase his movement speed. My play is to get to the pallet behind the clock tower, and I can literally see it. It is right in front of me. But I had no clue that there's a fucking stupid ledge here that cock blocks you from getting up there.
I got stuck on the fucking step.
Alright, sweet. I get one of those cool party hats now too. And I'm actually really surprised that the generator that I left at 80% before I even started that long run has still yet to be completed. But Navi gets off the generator and sabotages the hook that the pig's gonna take me to. And once the pig realizes that she's not gonna get me to a hook, she's gonna drop me in the courtyard and go for Navi.
I'm one tap.
Now, Navi did a really good job of losing the killer and then coming to pick me up once I got fully recovered. And just so you guys know, it takes 30 seconds to fully recover from dying state. So we have 2 generators that are 99 right now, ready to pop as soon as I get this fucking cage off my face. But I can't do that until the pig leaves me alone. So again, I'm just gonna loop her outside of Chase, and when she closes the gap, that's when I'll enter a room and loop her out of tile. Unfortunately, I bring the killer to Stoner, who's got this generator a pussy hair away from being completed. But it's probably the best thing, because the only way that I can get this cage off my head is if she's not chasing me.
I'm trying to get this thing off my head.
How did that hit me? Like, what the fuck? Fuck that door. I need to make the doors bigger.
Now, I'm a numbers guy, so let's go ahead and do some simple math. It's going to take you 12 seconds to search one of these jigsaw boxes. Now, there are 4 of them across the map, so that's going to take you up to 48 seconds. It's going to take you 25 to 30 seconds to run from one jigsaw box to the next jigsaw box, and that's if you run straight from point A to point B. And that's without any interruption from the killer. So on this map, the time that it takes just to travel to the jigsaw boxes is going to be up to 1 minute and 40 seconds to 2 minutes. That's insane. Now, obviously, there is a chance that you can get this reverse bear trap off of your head from the first 3 jigsaw boxes. But let's be honest. When does that ever happen? I feel like I'm always going to the last jigsaw box, which in this case would take you 2 minutes and 28 seconds minimum to get this bear trap off of your head. And if the timer was activated, you only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds, leaving you 2 seconds of spare time. So realistically, your head is going to explode. Okay, guys, so unfortunately, there really isn't any more educational value I can give you from this video. It's basically Stoner and myself running around trying to get our reverse bear traps off of our head. And I'm not the type of content creator that's just going to do 5 minutes of fluff. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I'm going to bring you educational information and leave out all the bullshit. So to sum up the rest of the video, we get the last 2 generators completed, the pig kills off my friends, and then allows me to boop her snoot before exiting the trial out of respect for how well I looped her. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to do all the things, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys soon.